guys, it's Pivots Queen and I'm back. Um I know it's been a while since I posted some videos on YouTube, but I wanted to just kind of give brief intro, then we're gonna just hop right into things. Um I plan on t posting three different types of videos. You will have the Mind Over Pips, which is psychology based. Those will be consistently. Then we have a new segment. It's called Moments with Amaya. It's like a comic book style lesson plan. So I'm excited to put that out and I hope you guys enjoy. And then the third type of videos will just be our markups. And I'm just going to be sharing with you guys what I'm trading, which is Euro USD at the moment. So just sharing my charts, past trades that I took, and what I might be looking for in the future. I am not giving out signals. I'm not telling you what to trade. I'm just kind of sharing my analysis with you, sharing my thought process with you, and hopefully you could kind of learn and pick up along the way. I'm not gonna go back to like the beginning and teach everything from beginning to end of like my trading style and what I do. I'm kind of just gonna hop right into things. Look at things week by week. We might look at trades that I've taken previously. We might, um, well, I always kind of try to give my analysis of the future. And this will be kind of more of my lax videos, so I won't be editing this. It'll just kind of be off the top of my dome, sharing what I have, or what I'm looking for the week, hopefully. Right now is Sunday. I plan to do these in early in the week, Sunday, Monday, and post them so you'll have something to kind of like look forward to a week. I know in the past I traded Nas. Nas was my pair. But I have had a lot of life happen. I had a baby. I've gotten married. I had a lot going on. And so I decided to start trading Euro USD. It's a little bit slower. Um, I don't have to have my eyes on it 24/7. And I actually have been enjoying like the slower pace of trading a Forex pair compared to trading Nas. Now I still mark Nas up. Um, and I have a chart for it, but I'm not looking at it currently because it's at an all-time high, and I don't like to trade pairs at all-time highs because I like to look for zones and trend lines and things of that nature, and it's hard to like mark that up when you're in uncharted territory. So hopefully that wasn't too winded of an intro. Maybe I should edit these. I'll decide when I watch this back. But let's go ahead and take a look at Euro USD. I'll kind of break down trades that I've taken last week, or last couple weeks, and then we'll look at what to look for this upcoming week. So I actually want to look at things from a higher time frame first. Sorry, my charts are a little messy. Um, I have a cleaner chart. I have a clean chart-ish, cleanish chart. That doesn't have as much, but just so you know how I trade, I do trade with market structure. I trade with support and resistance zones. I trade with trend lines. I trade with divergence on the RSI, and I trade with Fibonacci. So those are all the things that you'll find on my chart. Oh, and then pivots, of course. I have pivots. So those are like the elements of my trading style. So all of those things will be things you see on my chart. I do have this is like my demonstration chart, so it's a little cleaner, and then I have my actual trading chart, which was the other chart. Has a lot more of my markings. So I'll probably be flipping between the two, just so I can remember what it is I was looking for. But I will try to break things down more on this chart because I know it has a lot less chart art. So I wanted to start from the higher time frame just to show that basically for most of this year, it started the summer of last year and then all into this year. We have been trading in this range. So that's what this orange box is here. It's just kind of identifying the consolidation that we've been in on the higher time frame. Now, on the lower time frame, it actually has been pretty easy to find setups. And I don't want to say easy, but it's just been easy to know where price is going to go to because we just been trading within this consolidation zone. Um, Overall, though, and then let me zoom out more, sorry, before I drop down in time frame. We are in buying market structure. Um, we have our low, high, higher low, higher high, kind of higher low area. And then this is kind of just where the consolidation starts. But overall, we were in buying market structure before this consolidation happened. And on the monthly. Um, we just broke out of this is really high time frame. I normally don't even really look this high, but I want to give you guys the full picture of what's going on before we drop down to lower time frame. But on the monthly, we just broke out of this monthly channel to the upside. And then this is kind of where that consolidation box is. Let me kind of hide. So this was a channel break, and now we've just been consolidating. So I don't know if price is like gonna come back and retest that channel or not. That's very, very long term, so we don't have to think about it too far. But I do want to have an idea of where I am price wise on the higher time frame, and I know that we just broken out of a monthly channel to the upside. So on the daily, we are in like buying market structure still, but basically like 4 hour and down, we're basically like in this zone. Sorry, 4 hour. So from the 4 hour perspective, um, so the dark black trend lines are my 4 hour trend lines. The dotted lines are like my 1 hour trend lines. And then I have very faint trend lines, and those are like lower, like M30 and 15, and you'll see those as we drop down. But just wanted to kind of highlight that. So we did break above my 4 hour channel to the upside. We were in this buying market structure. Price started to pull back. And then here we could be possibly breaking this trend line. Now on my other chart, I have a different scenario. So maybe switching back and forth. But I have a 4 hour channel, and I kind of use these lows as my low. And so from this chart perspective, we actually do have a lot more room to move to the downside and still kind of respect that 4 hour trend. So I did want to point that out because I do remember seeing that. But on this channel, or sorry, this chart, we are kind of somewhat breaking. I use these 2 points to draw my trend line versus on my active trading chart, I use this uh trend line. So I could use both, but either way, this is kind of signaling that we have some possible room to move to the downside. Um, I was kind of thinking this zone, and I'll bring that down more as we go to like the lower time frame. But I think we could see price kind of come touch test this area and then possibly move to the upside. So let me kind of show you what I mean. We have this impulsive move up, right? Then we have this pullback. Um, what I'm thinking is we could get like a deeper pullback, so maybe even a pullback here, and then a really nice push to the upside. Because I actually do have uh more of a buy bias overall, but I think we're gonna see like a pullback and then that push up. Mm, yes, okay, so let me kind of touch on the daily a little bit to explain why I have the buy bias. It's mainly due to the day pivot levels. So you can see that the 8 is up here. And so with us being at the 4, I could see us possibly reaching the 8. But on the daily, we are in that consolidation range between the 3 and the 5. So we could just see price bounce around in here. But I would love to see price come to the 2 and then kind of give us that push up. So very long term move, hence why we're looking at the higher time frame for it. Does that mean, to just hop in now and sell here or hop in at this point and try to buy all the way up. Just kind of giving you a direction of what I'm expecting, but I will give you what confirmations I need to see before I act. We want to make sure we're taking things like step by step, and we're not just like assuming what price is going to do. I'm just kind of giving you my bias of what I think price possibly can do, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to actually do based on what the market does, right? I can have a bias, but I still have to react on what the market actually ends up doing. Okay. So 4 hour, we're kind of breaking this trend line. could have a pullback of some sort. Um, and actually before um this happened, I actually really thought we were just going to test this trend line and buy up. But then when I saw price kind of break this trend line and price is struggling to break this zone right here. Because we came here once, it was kind of like break and retest. We respected it. We came here again and we respected it. And then it's like a third time we respected that level. Because price is kind of failing to break that zone. That's another reason why I have more of a like a sell bias, but not a sell, just like a pull back. But overall, I do think we could see price move to the upside long term. Especially because we have buying market structure going on. Okay, so there's that. 1 hour. So 1 hour time frame, like I said, my 1 hour trend lines are these dotted lines. And I can see price did break this trend line and I did get into an entry here. I might have to switch charts. Um, but I do have like a lower time frame trend line that was broken. All right, so from this point, because we're going to lower time frame, I'm going to switch charts. So things might get a little messier. But this chart, I have some of my trades up here, but not all of them. The other chart, I know I have the trades that I took on them. I do. And I have a lot more data up here too. Um, so 1 hour time frame, let's talk about some past trades. First, I could kind of explain why I'm like taking it step by step. And then we'll get into like what I'm currently looking for. So we have a black trend line. So this is when the 4 hour trend line broke. So like I said, at this point, price was breaking like out of my consolidation zone. I really thought we were gonna have the move to the upside. But once I got that trend line break, I was like, okay, possibly moving to the downside. So we had break in structure. So again, that market structure terminology. I trade using market structure. So once I had the break of structure, I had a minor trend line. So that's why I was saying the little faint ones are gonna be like my M30, M15. So I had a minor trend line break to the downside. So I did get in for this sell. I took it all the way until I started getting 1 hour divergence and price started to break my trend line to the upside. So I closed that sell. But even just that move, um, that was 60, I got 67 pips from that move. Uh that's what then when I got divergence, price broke my trend line to the upside. I got in for a buy. And I'm really just taking it like trend line break, break of structure, and then I'm really trading zone to zone. So even though like my targets might be higher, I have TPs at like each zone that you see. Um, so this one I actually did close out most of my position there. And then that move was 40, I got 45 pips from that. Um, I did miss this sell when price kind of broke this trend line to the downside. I could have gotten into that move. Um, but that ended up coming to this zone that we have down here. And then this is where price broke my 1 hour trend line on the other chart. But this was like a channel, 1 hour channel. Either way, price broke out of that to the upside. So I did get into that buy and I did TP at that 8. I did have other positions open, but I closed once we started to break this trend line to the downside. Um, but for this, I got 86 pips. So I don't even know if that made sense. It's been so long since I've taught. I hope I am explaining all of this correctly, and I hope that is making sense to you why I took these trades. Um, But with all that being said, let's talk about what I'm looking for currently. Um, so for the I'm gonna drop down to a 30 minute because I did see that there was starting to form bearish divergence here. So like here to here, we have M30 divergence. It's already May. This is May 3rd. So since we have that divergence and we have the trend line break, I really wish that I was around when the market opened because the market gapped up here. It looks like a full candle, but it was actually a gap. That's why another reason why I have two charts. Because I could see it was a gap. And if I saw that, it literally looks like it broke and retested like that trend line, that divergence. That would have been a nice, quick little entry. But I wasn't watching it, so I didn't get that. Um, that sold like 24 pips, which is not bad. Um, so what am I looking for currently for entry? Right now, price is respecting this zone that I have here. But if I see price break below the zone, I have an alert set here. Move it up a little higher. I have an alert set, so whenever price breaks this zone, I'll be alerted and I could come look at it. But if I get a strong break, when I say strong, I mean like a nice sell candle, even like two sell candles below this zone, um, I will look for a sell just to my next zone, which is like the S2, to this area here. And that is like 30 pips. Why I'm selling to that area? Because it would be coming back to the top of my channel. So I want to see how price is going to react there. If price is going to like respect this channel and start trading back to upside, or if we'll see price break back within this channel, because that can happen. Price can break back below and start trading within the channel again. So I really want to see how price is going to react. So I will say for like right now. I could look for like maybe a minor sell there, then wait, pause and wait, see how price reacts. Um, and then if price breaks this zone here, let me look at that in a higher time frame. Okay, boom, yeah. I had to figure out where I was. So remember that I have this bottom of the channel here. So if price breaks this zone here, this is actually like a 4 hour zone. So if it breaks these 4 hour lows, I'm definitely targeting this level here, which is like the bottom of our 4 hour channel. So I'm really looking for the break of this zone. So I know I could take that trade for sure. And I have an alert set there, so I'll know when price gets there. Um, so I guess if you see price breaks this zone, you can trade to this zone, right? So step by step, wait for the break before you get in, just to make sure. But if you see price break there, you can sell here, but pause here because price has came here price, yeah, price came here a couple times and it's respected it. So you want to make sure that price isn't going to respect that level again and start to bounce up, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But just know that price could do whatever it wants, right? So it could break here and then it could go up. It could break both of these levels and then it could bounce up. So don't just assume that it gets here and it's going to keep selling. Actually wait for that confirmation before you get in, right? And so that's what I'm looking for sell wise. Buy wise, so let's look at the opposite. I do want to put a trend line on the selling market structure, but it's still kind of forming. So I know this trend line is tight. So ideally, let me draw what I want. Let price play around a little bit, right? Because it could do, whatever. Um, and then after it kind of like has some breathing room, you could draw a trend line. And then we want to see. a trend line breaks to the upside, right? Hopefully some bullish divergence as well, kind of give us that confirmation. And then I also wanted to break a previous high point, right? Because in order for the market to move up, it needs to be making higher highs and higher lows. So to make that confirmation of it actually breaking higher highs, I want to see a break of a previous high point. This is a gap, so I don't really want to use this high point here, but that is technically the last high. But really, I would want to see the break of this high that's here, right? So if I see a break of that high, um, then I know for sure I'm going to be looking for buys at least to this 4 hour zone. And then if we break that zone, I'm just gonna look for trades to the next zone because that would take us to the top of my 4 hour channel. Now, I will definitely make sure to have TPs in between, and what those TPs would be, I really need my pivot levels to reset to help me out with that because I use the strong pivot levels as TP points. So you can see like here at the 2, the strong pivot levels are the even levels. So the 0, the 2, the 4, 6, 8, those are the strong ones. So you can see how I have like a level at the 2, a level at the 0. Um, so if these reset and let's say there's like a strong level here and a strong level here, I'll still make sure to have TPs at those levels on the way to my next zone. All right, so let's get rid of these brush drawings. I'll keep those. Oh, oops. There we go. Okay. So I'll leave this here because I'm kind of waiting for it for price on that one. I just don't want it to be so tight because, any little candle can break that. So I want to give it some room to kind of form. Um, Other than that, that's kind of all I have. That would be my outlook for this week. Um, Essentially, we're kind of, to sum it up, we're in the middle of a channel right now. So I want to see if price is going to go to the top of that channel or the bottom of the channel. And I'm really just going to wait on the confirmations. Set alerts so you don't have to like stare at your charts. You could just come back to the chart when it's in an area of interest. So for me, honestly, I don't even really want to take that short-term buy. That is something that you can do for sure. So you would just want to set an alert like at that high point. How many pips is that? That's like 24, 25 pips, which is not bad. But I'm just gonna set an alert at the top of my zone because I really want to know when it's breaking out of this. And I'll just try to catch that move to that next zone. So I set an alert at that level. I have an alert set at this low. This alert might go off because price could just consolidate right here for a while. Um, but I definitely have an alert set for if price breaks this low because I know exactly what I would do in that scenario. Um, but other than that, that's kind of all I have. Make sure you're paying attention to the DXY, especially with the DXY news. So much news coming out. The euro usually moves inverse of the dollar. I do watch the dollar, but I mark it up pretty lightly. So I don't even really have zones up here. I mainly just use my trend lines and I mark the divergence. And I do remember seeing some bullish divergence here. Um, so we could see this potentially move to the upside. It did break my minor trend line that I had. So we could possibly see a move to the upside. So if we do see this start to move up, then we know for sure that we'll see Euro USD move down. So that's kind of a part of why I have the selling bias for this week. But who knows, because there could be news that comes out that's pretty negative for the dollar. and then that could push Euro USD up. Also keep in mind that this week is NFP week. So NFP is going to be on Friday, and that's going to have a big impact on the market as well. Um, Other than that, that's really all I have. Um, because Euro USD is the only pair that I am watching currently. If there's other pairs that you guys want me to watch, just let me know and I could try to add them to my list if I feel comfortable. Right now, just focusing on one pair is the easiest for me. So I don't have a bunch of alerts going off. I do have a 1-year-old now, and she is pretty demanding. So she is very time consuming. So I try to keep things simple, in and out, that sort of thing. But I do keep my eyes on gold. So if gold is something you're interested in, I could share my markups with that. And Nas, I will be sharing my markups with that once it gets from being in the all-time high territory. Um, then I will also share my analysis of that as well. So I feel like I was like all over the place, but I haven't done this in a while, so hopefully you gotten some good information for this. I plan on being consistent back on YouTube, plan on staying, so make sure you have your notification bell turned on so you know when I'm posting videos. I'm hoping to post like if not one video a week, 2 to 3 a week, but don't hold me to it because last time I was like, I'm gonna post all the time and I posted one video and it ghosted you guys. So I hope you have enjoyed and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.